Hey everybody. I know I said that the next video would be done around Christmas Eve. Very clearly that didn't happen, and I apologize, but I think you guys could understand why with everything going on over the holidays.
This is what a basic Polish-American holiday looks like. You spend way too much time with your family doing awesome stuff like making pierogies by hand, but that leaves you little time for your other hobbies.
After the holidays, though, Mickey surprised me with a late Christmas gift, and that was this.
This is a custom 3D printed Sandshrew model from Etsy.
Now, I can't talk about this like I do with any of the other miniatures that I've painted or reviewed, because there is no date of manufacture included with this. It's not a mainstream miniature maker. This is an independent producer of miniatures, and so I can't really talk too much about that or its history. But what I can do, at the very least, is give credit where credit is due. This came with it. It was kind of a maker's mark that shows me that the name of this person was Mickey or Mickey or something similar to that. So unfortunately, I cannot get in touch and review the order because I was not the one who ordered this. I was not the one who made contact originally. So if anybody here knows who this is for some godforsaken reason, link them this video and tell them that that's their review. And spoiler alert, I love it.
Of course, that may just be because I'm biased and I have loved Sandshrew since I was a very little kid. I think I've picked up just about every pressing of these cards from the original set and maybe a few in the later sets. And also, I managed to get this guy in California to just show how much I love this Pokemon.
I'm not going to waste too much time with like Pokemon history or franchise history because I already covered that back in my video about the card game, and you all probably all know that anyway. So we're just going to launch into just the miniature stuff for today. Hey Mickey. Mickey.
Yeah?
We're ready to start. I mean, you can go back to your game later, but you don't even need to leave the Pokemon universe for this.
So to start off, we've primed the whole thing brown. It's a good root color for something that's supposed to look like sand. And we're just going to start by dry brushing slowly up a gradient from that brown to a sandy yellow. Oh, right, I forgot about that. Sandshrew used Mudshot. It's super effective. You know, ironically, one of the common complaints I get about my dry brushing is that when I apply it, it looks too much like sand. Well, conveniently enough, that's exactly the texture I'm going for here. So I've got a nice, horrible dry brush to do exactly that effect. I've already planned to go in and do a little bit of individual work on some of the bricks on his back and on his arms to make it look more like he is made out of sandstone. So I'm going to make some bricks that are a little more red, some bricks that are a little more yellow, some bricks that are a little more brown, and maybe around his arms or his little claw things, I'm going to add a little bit of dirt texture. So we'll see how that works. In my observations of sandstone, I noticed that some areas are this natural rusted red, and some areas are a darker brown. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint individual bricks their assigned colors, and then lightly dry brush over that with the sand color to make it look like, you know, it's actually a unified sandstone piece with maybe a little bit of discoloration.
Okay, so you see that in this photo of Petra, how the sandstone bricks actually have some weathering on them, like water weathering coming down. Mm-hmm. Mickey proposed an idea to me, which was this Sandshrew is going to be using his limbs to dig, so his arms and his legs will, and probably most of his face, will probably be the cleanest spots of him. It's going to look the most like sandstone. But some parts of his back he won't be able to reach while cleaning himself or whatever, so I figured why not do some water damage like that.
I'd like to think of the water damage color as kind of the underlayer for everything on this model. So his claws are going to be painted this to start off with. There's going to be a little bit of kind of inking, but not really, being done with the cracks just above the bricks that I want to be water damaged, and then I just slowly drip down the color onto the brick to kind of fade it into the natural color, making it look only slightly worn and discolored. From there, both the bricks and the claws are going to be highlighted up with a kind of super bright sand to highlight the edges and also to help fade the discoloration. While I have my bright colors out, I'll just take the brightest shade of white I can get, and edge highlight and kind of fade in the brightness of the claws on the hands and feet. And then I will mix that white with a little bit of that sand tone from earlier and use that to paint his belly and his underside. You can barely see it in this light, but I'm actually dry brushing a brighter shade of white over the belly and the snoot to highlight them. And this is the last easy thing before we have to decide what it is we're going to do with the eyes of this particular Sandshrew. We know we want to make them like gems so that they stand out, but what kind of gems?
But yeah, I think the overall arc is that Sandshrew actually has this cute deep blue eye, which would make it something closer to a sapphire or some other blue stone.
Okay.
My stones.
Well, then maybe something like a blue apatite or even an agate. That might work.
What we actually ended up settling for was something a lot closer to a raw sapphire, almost a purplish blue at its base, and then highlit into brighter shades of blue until the reflection at its surface, namely the pupils of this Sandshrew's eye, formed almost a white blue. All that is left is the base, which of course I'm going to use this textured sand paint to cover. That's going to make him look like he just dug out of the ground, and of course that puts the finishing touch on him as well. Look at him in all his sandy majesty. I am not gonna lie, I'm gonna pat myself on the back for this one, because all things considered, seeing as how I unwrapped that just today, primed that in a snowstorm, and went into this with like the bare minimum of functioning brushes, I think I handled that very well. In short, Mickey, you want a review? Here's your review. This miniature was fantastic. It is probably the most fun I've had painting such a simple miniature. It is also a great canvas for getting creative. If you want to do something super realistic, if you want to do something a bit more anime, this is absolutely ideal. We're in an age where 3D printing makes a lot of stuff, a lot of different miniatures from a lot of different franchises and a lot of different corners of nerd culture possible. So go out there and look. You'll be surprised at what you can find. So next video, I will warn you right now, is not going to be too much focused on painting. It's not going to be focused on assembly or anything like that, or specific miniature history. This is going to be kind of a foreshadowing for what I'm painting over the next couple of videos. It's a lot of history, so if you like miniature history, stick around, but I'm warning you right now, if that sort of stuff bores you, the video after this one, when you see that come up, give it a pass. You'll just find yourself falling asleep. So until that point, I hope you guys keep painting, hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I shall see you next time.